Yeah.
Okay. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Bella Grace podcast, where we are helping you transform your life, mind, body, and soul. Whether you are struggling to find balance, using unhealthy behaviors or substances to cope, or just want to find the root cause of what's holding you back from living your best life, Bella Grace Coaching can help you transform your life, mind, body, and soul. And this week we are doing that by talking about
How to set healthy boundaries.
yes.
Yay.
Yay. So this is another one of those episodes that we recorded a couple weeks ago
Yeah.
and lost it.
Didn't
So
happen. Yeah.
if you could see our setup today, we're recording on Zoom, we're recording on the cell phone. We are not losing this one. So setting healthy boundaries. This was inspired by a listener who
Yeah.
wanted us to talk about setting healthy boundaries with family.
Yeah.
And so, but I want to expand it to not only setting healthy boundaries with family and friends, but also with work and how
I think
to
just
everything.
overall, yeah,
Yeah.
even with friends, even just with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you don't have healthy boundaries, it can be hard to,
hmm
if you don't know what your boundaries are,
Or
it
how
can,
to set any.
yeah, it can
Yeah.
be hard to say yes or no to things because when you have healthy boundaries, if it falls outside of your boundary line, it's easy to say no because you know what your boundaries are, you know what your limits are. And if it falls outside of that, you say no.
hmm
But if you don't know what your boundaries are, then you're just saying yes to everything. And then that's how you get burned out. That's how
Yeah.
you get hurt. That's how you end up in unhealthy relationships.
Yeah, because you don't know how to say no. You don't know how to set limits that are healthy for you and other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
So this is so cute on, by the
Oh,
way.
my gosh, like it's loose. I feel I don't know. Thank you.
Yes. You said you felt very southern earlier. And it
I
reminds me of like what's the magnolia
oh
thing in
yeah. Is it the Magnolia movie?
no,
Okay,
the
never
in
mind.
Waco where you went to
Oh,
visit, is it
Chip and Joanna Gaines.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really? That's
That's what
my
it reminds me of. Yeah.
really.
I
We
have
we need to
their
go.
I know.
Yeah.
I have their sugar and creamer holders over there and it's navy blue and white. So that's
I bought
why.
something that belongs well, it doesn't belong to them anymore because I bought it, but
Yeah.
I have a few of
You
their
yeah.
things,
They're
including their book, and it's so good.
yeah, that
Yeah.
stuff is so cute. My mom got it
Yeah.
for me when she went out there when they were visiting.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what are some boundaries that you have in your life?
Ooh, I set boundaries with friends, with family, especially family, because I have a huge family, and
Mhm.
if I don't set any boundaries, and the way I do it is like when we go over to either my husband's family or mine, because things can get crazy sometimes.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's a lot. It's a huge family, so we have a lot of everything. And yeah, so I think one of the things that my husband and I always do, or we talk about before we go
Mhm.
to any party, um, any gathering, whatever it is, it's like, okay, we're gonna go just for a bit, for like an hour or two, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Or whenever you're ready, I'm ready. And we're like, okay. And we do. We usually stick to it. Um, because we know that if we stay for too long and
The
certain
crazy
people are
starts.
drinking
Yeah.
or some people are just in their moods, stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And we're probably gonna get some of it as well. And we're not trying to put ourselves in that situation or get involved. And we're just trying to go and do what we should,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
Hi,
You're
here's a
making an appearance.
present.
Yeah, you're making an appearance. You're being
Yeah.
there for your family
Mhm.
without allowing your family to violate your
And
boundaries.
affect
Yeah.
my peace.
Mhm.
Yeah, that where I can go, show up, smile, um, eat the food, and chit chat for a bit, catch up, and then that's it. Let's
Yeah.
go.
And then go. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can go back to my house, and I don't have to be like, overwhelmed and
Mhm.
I guess overstimulated sometimes,
Mhm.
or just feeling all these kinds of things that now I feel like I need to pray about because my peace is gone
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people just cross the line because although you have boundaries, some people don't have,
Yeah.
they won't, and they will push and push
Mhm.
and push and push and see how far they can get.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people won't respect your boundaries.
No.
Yeah, so we talked about this a while back, I think beginning of this season, when one of the first episodes that we did about how you have a bedtime for your family. Like
Oh,
y'all have a healthy bedtime, right?
yeah.
And that's a
We
good
do.
boundary to have for yourself. It
Yeah.
protects your peace, it protects your sleep. Like, okay, so let's break down it protects your peace.
Mm.
If you don't go to bed at a decent time, then you're exhausted. You
Mhm.
don't function as well.
No, I'm moody. I have to have my sleep. My beauty sleep is
Yeah,
so important.
it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. You don't feel well physically, mentally,
Mm-mm.
emotionally if
Yeah.
you don't respect your boundary of going to bed at a certain time.
I'm
So,
like an old lady. I have to crawl into bed like at 9.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. That's one that I'm not good at keeping is my sleep boundary
Mm.
because I'm so busy. I'm always doing so much that I oftentimes will work in the evenings on different projects.
Mhm.
And so then I will set aside a day or whatever, like an evening to just hang out with my family.
Mm.
And we usually end up staying up really late,
Uh,
watching movies, hanging out,
no, not
whatever.
not us. I'll be at a social events, and we have a social event tonight.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too. I
we
know.
do. And even if uh, certain times I'm okay, I'll let it just be because it's not an everyday kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I'm okay with that. But when like for example over the weekend, I don't have to wake up early on the weekends.
Yeah.
So I tend to sleep in, but I also like to stay up late watching
Mhm.
movies or just, whatever I'm doing. But um if I'm at a social event and it's like 8 or 9, I'm yawning. I'm yawning. I'm like,
And I think we have late
yeah.
dinner reservations tonight, don't we?
Do we? I
I
think
don't
it's at
know.
6
Oh,
or
it is at
6:30?
6,
Right, yeah.
6:30,
So
something like
that's
that.
that's
Yeah.
not bad,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
not yeah.
Yeah, but so you can set healthy boundaries around sleep, around food, around
Yeah.
family, around friends, around
Mhm.
work.
Yeah.
And so you've talked about your healthy boundary around your family.
Mhm.
And so what does that look like? Like I know your story
Mhm.
and I know why you have those boundaries.
Mhm.
But give us a little recap on
Yeah.
why you protect your peace with regard to your family so much.
One one of the major reasons, not just with my family, but my husband's family.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it's because there's a lot of unhealed trauma
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
So I know I've done the work and I'm continue to do the work. I don't think it's like a ever ending story,
Right.
like the
Yeah.
healing journey.
We're never ever
Yeah,
100% healed, right?
and that's okay.
Mhm.
And I feel like because if I stay longer than I should, people will bring up things because you just can't. It's
Inevitable.
yeah,
Yeah.
to just be with family and someone doesn't bring something up that would trigger
Right.
someone else,
Else.
and then that
Mhm.
would trigger something else,
And
and
it's a
escalates.
snowball.
And
Mhm.
then it's like, okay, well, we went from 1 to 100 real quick,
Yeah.
and to avoid the drama and everything, I'm like, okay, I don't say anything that is none of my business. I don't
Mhm.
say anything that isn't true. And I also am very careful about who I'm around with because it's never my intention to hurt anybody
Mhm.
or cause any drama, but it's people carry so much
Yeah.
and they bleed on you or
Mhm.
unload it on you,
Mhm.
or there's other people who just like to instigate,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
with that it's like, okay, I have to know my limit, my
Yeah.
boundaries. I have to know how close I'm gonna get to someone. I have to know when it's time to
Mm.
go.
Yeah.
When it doesn't feel right, when I'm like, okay, I've been here for an hour and um I already had whatever that was offered to eat,
Yeah.
and I already gave
I
the
ate, I
gift.
drank, I
Yeah.
appeared, I gave the gift. Okay, it's time for me to go.
Yeah, like, I if I'm comfortable enough where I'm like, okay, I think it's good here, like I'll better go.
Yeah.
Or if I feel like energy is shifting, like
Oh, that's a good one.
where you
Yeah.
start watching people's either drinking or behavior or body
Mhm.
language,
Mhm.
words coming out,
Mhm.
you're like, yeah. I mean, if you want to stay and get the whole scoop and the cheese the gossip, because you don't want anyone else telling you you want front row seats, then that's how you.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I really don't want to be involved in this because I know
Mhm.
how it ends, and I'm gonna hear about it anyways. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go. Like it's time for me to check out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear that. Yeah, when I was first working on myself and really trying to heal the broken parts of me,
Mhm.
a lot of my hurt came from my family,
Yeah.
right? A lot of, and it was stuff that they may not have even realized that
Affected you.
affected me.
Right.
Yeah, it was years of little things that
Mm,
added up to this big hurt.
of course.
And my dad's family, and I've told you this before, my dad's family basically like cut us off after my
Mhm.
dad passed away.
Yeah.
And it was like I started to try to heal and they started to try to come back.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about this last week about how like when you get saved, um, that's when the testing period kind of starts.
Mhm.
Because when you're living in darkness, you're living in sin, like the devil is happy to just leave you alone, right? Like
Yeah.
he's happy to just
And we
let
can
you.
talk about that some other time because I was thinking about it. There's people who don't understand like what that's
Mhm.
like what it's like to not be tested and you're comfortable because the devil keeps you nice and comfy.
Yeah.
And how it is when you're walking with God and not everything is
Mhm.
painted nicely
Yeah.
like people think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not sunshine and rainbows.
No, it's not.
And it starts like, and I tell people all the time, my clients,
Mm,
like when we start working on them and we really start chipping away the layers and start trying to heal and deal with some of those issues, like so that they can transform their lives, like it hurts, it brings
mm,
up stuff, and you, as you heal, you start to get pressure to stay where you are.
yeah.
And like even with like quitting drinking or quitting
Or
drugs.
or sometimes it's not, it's also when you heal, people still see you as the version
Mm,
they had of you in their mind.
yeah,
So they still want to treat you the way that they
like the
treated
old you.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the old you. And what
Mhm.
people don't understand is that you're not the same person anymore. Your mind has changed.
Mhm.
You're not like, you may look the same physically, but your soul, your mind, your heart has changed.
Yeah.
And there's part of you that will still be the same, which
Mhm.
will be your personality, your smile, your sense of humor.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the way that you used to live, your way of thinking, that
Mhm.
has
It's
changed.
changed.
And
Yeah.
people don't think that. They feel like they can still, talk to you or disrespect you or
Mhm.
just mistreat you the way that they used to, or they used to.
Yeah.
And when you're like, you don't play a part in that, they're like, they kind of continue to push you,
Yeah.
trigger you,
Mhm.
so they can get you back,
Yeah.
because that's the part that they um either enjoy
Yeah.
about you, or they
Yeah.
like to just, they can control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I saw that when I stopped drinking, it was like people were like, oh, we miss the drunk Teresa. Oh, we, you're not going to drink. Like, what's wrong with you? And not wanting to like hang out anymore because I wasn't the same. But I had to put a boundary up of like, I don't want to partake in these behaviors. And if that means I don't get to hang out with you, then I guess I don't get to hang out with you.
Then I'm sorry,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, so the pressure that you feel when you start to try to change, it's not just spiritual, it's not just like biblical, right? It's also chemical in your brain. So when you have functioned a certain way for so long, that is your brain's normal state, right? That's your homeostasis. And so like when you try to change the way that you're living, the people that you're around, the things that you do to cope, like when you start trying to change those things, your brain fights you and it wants to stay how it was.
With what it's used to,
Yeah.
with what it knows.
Yeah.
So the best way that I can visualize that is like big road, tiny road.
Yeah.
Like there's a highway, then there's a little back road. And the highway is big because you're so used to going by there. There's so much traffic. That's where you always just go. That's where your nerve system always takes you, right? So the same patterns, and it's easier and it's a familiar area because you go through it all the time.
It's a well-traveled road. Your brain is like, we can go on autopilot on this road.
Yeah, because we know it keeps us comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the little back road. You don't know where it's taking you and it's new to you and you're sort of afraid, but you know that you should go this way to rewire your brain, your neurons, right?
Yeah.
And so it can be a little scary, but like the path there, it's so sometimes I get to talking and I'm like, what am I saying?
Just keep going.
So
We're on the right
because
track.
we're rewiring our brain and it's not easy and it's hard.
The road is going to be bumpy. There's going to be curves.
Yeah.
There's going to be potholes because this is not a well-traveled road.
No.
Right? Like you are traversing it for the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
And the more you continue to go this way, the bigger it's going to get and the easier it's going to be. But it takes a little bit of you saying, okay, this is what I'm used to, this is what I know, and it's easy, but I don't like this because it doesn't make me happy.
Right.
I need to figure out new patterns, new habits, and I'm going to try this. And then you realize, okay, well, it wasn't so bad, but you continue to do this every day until it gets easier.
Yeah.
And then you no longer have to go through this highway because through the little back road, it's gotten so familiar and easy that you learn other little back roads and it takes you to a little lake and it's just like
and there's
an
scenery.
adventure. Yeah. And that's growth. That's how growth is. That's how healing is. It's never easy and you don't know what you're going to bump into.
Yeah.
But you have to continue to go down that road, down that path.
And so to play on your analogy,
my visual.
Yes, her visual example. Yes. The way that you direct yourself to that back road is by setting a boundary. Think of it as a roadblock. You put a roadblock in front of that highway and say, if this decision, if this offer, if this job, if this request requires me to go down that highway, it's a no. Because I'm putting this barrier up and I'm blocking that road and I'm not going down that road anymore. So when your friend says, hey, do you want to go to dinner? Our reservation is at 8:30.
Who's going to be there?
No. You can say no because you're like, no, I have like a specific bedtime. Like I'm next time, I'll catch y'all next time.
Or sometimes you don't even have to say that. If you want to go and you can be there and it's safe person, safe place, then you can say, okay, I'll be there.
Yeah,
you can be
make
there,
exceptions.
but you have your own plan in your mind. You know that you're gonna go. You're just gonna be there for a bit, and then you whenever you feel like it's time to go because of whatever it is, you can just say, "Oh, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Thanks, thank you for inviting me. Good
Yeah.
night." You
Yeah.
know, you don't have to give anyone an explanation. And I feel like a lot of us sometimes we do feel like we have to
Yeah.
or find a good excuse, a believable excuse for our actions. And it's like, well, sometimes you can be honest, or sometimes
Mhm.
you don't have to because it's nobody else's
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. So what you were saying, like you can still go,
Hmm.
that leads into having healthy boundaries, not just around your
Yeah.
sleep, but also around like, okay, knowing your hard limit, right?
Yeah.
With people, with places, with things. And so you can say, yeah, I can adjust and I can give and I can take on my bedtime, but these are the other things that I can't give and take and make exceptions to, right? So like using this example, if you're going to sorry, you get invited to dinner
Hmm.
and reservation is at 8:30 and you're like, it's Friday, I can stay out late tonight, it's fine, I'm going to go.
Hmm.
But then they start doing things that you necessarily aren't comfortable with.
Like a bad date, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like they start
What's it?
taking shots or they start smoking weed or they do whatever it is, whatever your
Yeah.
boundary is, or they
Mhm.
start gossiping and talking bad about your other friend. Like those are boundaries that you can set for yourself too. And you
Yeah.
can say, yes, I made an exception to my bedtime, but now they're pushing up on my other boundary. So I'm just going to excuse myself and say, hey, it was nice. Great hanging out with you, but I'm going to head out.
Yeah. Like
And
so
that's okay too.
yeah, you don't have to get nasty. You I think the best thing that there's this quote that keeps on popping up on me lately everywhere, whether it's in a book, on a small clip, whatever it is. It's like sometimes you just need to let people be so
Mm-hmm.
that you can see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Like you can only control yourself. You can only control and just you focus on you, what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if that takes your peace away, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
And people are gonna do whatever they want to do at the end of the day. All you can do is set healthy boundaries for your peace, for your
Mhm.
mental health, for your emotional well-being, even your physical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. For me, a boundary that I struggled with for a long time was work life balance
mm,
because I was working at a job that required, I should have had a team of like three people, but it was just
mm,
me. And there was a lot of pressure. And I was making more money than I had ever made in my life at this job. And so I felt like I had to
mm,
deliver, right?
yeah.
Like I felt like I had to prove that I was worth that amount of money.
Mm,
And I would work in the office from like I'd get to work at 8, 8:15, depending on when I dropped off my daughter at school. And then I would work until 5:30, 5:45, and then I would come home and we would eat dinner, and then I would work until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning on the laptop
mhm.
at home.
Wow.
And it was day in, day out. Like I had no boundaries around my work schedule. And it
Yeah.
was invading my personal life at
Yeah.
every turn.
I, I was doing the same thing with teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I was bringing my work home. I
Yeah.
was cutting things, or not just that. Like, okay, my time out was like, for let's say 4, and I would still stay in school till
Mm-hmm.
6 p.m. And I was like tired, but I knew that I had to get certain things done because if I didn't, it was gonna like just, I don't know.
Pile
I
up.
was just
Yeah.
like, okay, once I start, I gotta finish.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, I'm working overtime for free basically. And I'm here when I should be home with my kids, eating dinner, relaxing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was staying a lot of time at work also, or I was bringing it with me home.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this has to stop. because work stays at work.
Yeah.
This is my free time. I shouldn't have to worry about this.
Yeah.
And I stopped, and that was the best thing I did.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I mean, if we forget and we don't continue to set these boundaries that keep us healthy and happy, like they're gonna just keep piling up, and
Yeah.
we're gonna break.
Yeah.
We're not a machine. We're human beings
We
with
have to
needs.
refresh. We have to
Yeah.
reset. We have to have moments of peace. But yeah, no, it's true. If you don't set healthy boundaries around work, then
Mhm.
it follows you home. And
Oh,
then you aren't giving yourself the space to reset, refresh, right?
mm-mm.
So after work, you're supposed to, my boss always says, food, family, fun, friends,
Mhm.
because we have a call for the nonprofit that I work at. We have a call every Wednesday, and he always ends the call with, like, all right, guys, food, family, fun, friends, get some rest, and we'll do it all over again tomorrow.
Mm.
And he is very big on work life balance. And in his mind, family comes first.
Mm.
And I am so grateful to finally have a boss that sees life that way.
Sorry, guys.
Because
Boundaries.
I know, because my job that I was talking about, where I worked in the corporate office, like, my boss, she would work until 8 o'clock at night. She would get to the office at 7 o'clock in the morning. And
7.
she
Okay.
expected, that's a 15-hour work day. And she expected no less from us.
Wait, she's the boss?
Yeah.
I'm s Wait, I love bosses. I think they're great leaders, but I feel like there's a reason why they're called leaders.
Yeah.
Like, we are their little workers.
See, and
And
I'm the opposite. I don't lead like that.
mm,
I've been a leader, I've been a supervisor in almost every job that I've ever had.
I think it is expected for your employees or people who you know, um,
Supervisor.
lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like as a leader, you have to set the example, and I feel like sometimes you end up or at least from what I remember, right?
Mhm.
Of growing up thinking of people who are leaders or in charge or managing, they
Mhm.
always had to set the example, and they usually worked the hardest because they did certain things.
Yeah.
But yes, you expected your employees to work hard, but you can't expect someone to put in the work like you do because they're not you.
Yeah. Yeah. So the way I lead, and I have had several leadership roles over the years, I always tell my employees, I'm here to help you. Like,
Mhm.
my job is to make sure that you have what you need to get your job done well.
Mhm.
And I always tell people when they hire me, I'm like, I am a servant leader. Like, if I need to go help maintenance clean the toilets, I will go help maintenance clean the toilets.
Right,
Like, if
yeah.
I need to go fill in for one of my employees and do their job for the week so that they can be with their sick child, I will do that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't sit in my office and just dole out responsibilities and say, this is your job, this is your job. No,
And
it's
then
like
get mad
this.
when it doesn't get done.
Yeah, I'm like, this is what needs to get done. How can we divide this between all of us to
Because
make
we're a
sure it
team.
gets done? Yeah.
Yeah.
I include myself in the work.
Yeah.
I don't just say, hey, I need you to go make these 5 phone calls
Mhm.
and let me know when you're done. No, we need to make these 5 phone calls. You take 2 and I'll do 3.
Yeah.
That's how I've always led.
That's how good leaders are supposed to lead, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
And
Yeah.
when it comes time to, like, if someone does something wrong, I will tell them, hey, like, this is what you did. This was the good parts of what you did. This is
Mhm.
where we can improve on. And this is how it should have looked. That
Yeah.
way, it's not just you did all these things bad, right? Like,
Mhm.
so quick little sidebar into leadership. But no, so I learned at that job that I needed to set boundaries around my
Yeah.
work. And I ended up leaving that job to grow my photography business and get back into the nonprofit sector, because that's where my heart is. That's where my education is in nonprofit. And mental health
Mhm.
stuff. So I left that job and I started my photography business. I started my coaching business. I started working for the nonprofit that I work for. And I started this podcast. And so I went from having one full time job to now having four part-time, semi full-time jobs. Oh, he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine. It didn't mess with your lighting.
Okay.
Mel has attacked the light box. Um, but so
Mm.
I went from one full-time job that was taking up so much of my time to now having several little jobs that take up a bunch of my time.
Yeah.
And what I did was I started setting parameters around my time. So on at these certain times of the day, I work on nonprofit stuff.
Mm.
At these certain times of the day, I work on podcast stuff. On these certain days, I work on photography stuff. And on these certain days, I do whatever, like coaching appointments. Like I don't let everything just run wild and run free on my calendar.
Mhm.
I have a very strict time blocked calendar, and I even time block time with family and friends. And so I have certain days that I told you I will sit and hang out with my family. I have certain days where I have time to hang out with friends. If someone reaches out and they're like, "Hey, let's go to dinner." Okay, these are the days that I have available for dinner with friends. And it's usually Tuesday or Thursday.
Mhm. And I love that because I do the same thing. I tend to plan because I want to make sure I balance everything:
Mhm.
work life, family life,
Mhm.
personal time,
Yeah.
me time, a lot of
Yeah.
me time,
That's what I was going to say.
gym
So,
time.
yeah.
And then if I have an open space, then I can put you there because I if you don't plan
Mhm.
certain things, at least for me, if I don't plan certain things and I don't have them in order or schedule them, I and someone just comes by, or I don't know, anything, not just someone, anything, like people could take advantage of your time, make you
Mhm.
waste your time. And I realized to now that time is very valuable, and
Yeah.
especially your time.
Mhm.
Like it shouldn't be played with. It's
Yeah.
not something that you can just take advantage and think that people just have all this time in the world. Um, for you, especially like if you're someone who doesn't doesn't know how to respect, doesn't know how to, or not just not just someone who doesn't know how to respect. It's just that some people, when you don't have a plan and set in motion, they will take advantage, they will overstay, they will cross your boundaries and break them and push you to your limits.
Mhm.
So it's so
Yeah.
important that you plan.
Yeah. No, for sure. Whenever I plan stuff, I'm like, okay, even when we plan to record, I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm available from this time to this time. Whatever we get
Yeah.
done in that time is what we get done.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
And you're the same way. Like you come over, you record, and you're like, okay, I got to go to my next thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, bye. Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, don't even bother. I'll clean everything up. Just go. If we're like really short on time. But it is
Yeah.
important to communicate those things with people as you plan stuff, because when you voice your boundary,
Yeah.
it lets other people know, okay, Teresa is only available from 9 to 12 today.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like I always Rosie, she runs late, and I know that.
It's not always,
No,
but
no,
sometimes
that's
I
fine.
am on
She's either
time.
real early or late.
Yeah. And I am also one of those people that I think everything's like 15 minutes away, or I lose track of
Yeah.
time. I really do.
Yeah.
I am one of those. I can be spontaneous sometimes, and I
Yeah.
think I'll get there,
Mm.
when I get there. So
I always give a buffer with Rosie. I'm like, okay,
I'm either gonna be early or late.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I'm
Whereas
ever
like
on time, that's weird.
Yeah. Whereas like Tracy, I know Tracy's always early, like
Yeah.
real early. And
Okay.
if she's late, there's something wrong.
Mm.
Or she got stuck somewhere. So,
Mm,
but it's important to kind of communicate with your friends, with your family, with whoever. Like,
yeah.
and for me, when I set appointments, I am very strict. Like, I give my clients like a 10-minute grace period. If you're
Mhm.
not on the call in 10 minutes, then we're canceling the
Oh, no.
appointment.
Let me just clarify on that. When it comes to family and friends, I am late. But if it has to do with work or something professional or a doctor's appointment,
Mhm.
I will be there on time.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
because I oftentimes schedule
Yeah.
my days back to back to back,
Mhm.
and I have so much going on.
Yeah.
Like, if I have a client appointment during work hours, that is my lunch break. If
Mhm.
I have, a doctor's appointment with my daughter, like, I am going to end up making up that work time in the evening.
Yeah.
So, I want to be very aware of how I am using my time because my evening time typically is my time for my family or time for my friends or time
Yeah.
for me to go get a facial or a massage
Yeah.
because you have to carve out me time.
Yeah.
Like you said, me time where it's
Mhm.
just me.
Mhm.
And I think that's one boundary that we all slip up on is
Yeah.
respecting our me time.
Having a routine that works for you,
Mhm.
it helps to when you're planning something and you already know, okay, I work from 9 to 5. At 5 p.m., I go straight to the gym. I'll be done by 6 or 7. After that, I have like an hour
Mhm.
um either to eat, or if I'm not eating at home, I can go eat with someone else
Mhm.
or whatever. But it's when you have a routine that works for you, you know who you're able to squeeze into your life,
Mhm.
into your time, and who you're not, what you're able
Yeah.
to tolerate or
Or not.
yeah, or
Yeah.
not. Like, okay, this is what works for me. This keeps me steady, keeps me in line.
Mhm.
Now, on weekends as well, like if you have a routine on the weekends, like, okay, um, from this time I wake up, then I'll go exercise or I'll
Mhm.
do this, or I don't have any plans, or after this, I'm just open from this time to this time. I can go to this party or I cannot, or
Yeah.
it's just that's just how it works
It
for
gives
me and it works for a lot of people.
yeah.
And I feel like also you have to keep in mind that people also have lives
Mhm.
that they can't, like, everyone has a life. Like, it's not just about, like, maybe you have a lot of free time on your hands and that's okay, but other people are married, they have
Yeah.
kids, or they just have a lot of other things that you
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a friend and she's in grad school and I
Mhm.
understand and I'm in grad school.
Yeah, you are.
Um but I understand her personality and I know that she has to be 100% focused, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so while she's in this season, I know that she has set certain boundaries
Yeah.
and I respect those
Yeah.
boundaries. And I know that she knows that I love her and I'm here if she needs me,
Mhm.
but I am
Same.
respecting her
Mhm.
boundaries of needing to focus on school,
Yeah,
right?
and when she is done, she will reach out
Oh,
to
yeah.
us and we'll have lunch and
And
catch
we'll
up and
catch up and
everything.
we'll
Yeah.
find out how she did and all the
Yeah.
things, right? Like,
Right.
I know
Mhm.
her boundaries.
Yeah.
I know that this is her first time. And what I always tell people is like, don't compare your boundaries to somebody
Or
else's.
your life even.
Yes,
Yeah.
because she and I are walking through the same season. We're
Mhm.
both in grad school. On the surface, it looks like we're both doing the same things. However, um, so I'm in grad school for the second time, but this time I'm married. My job is so much less stressful.
Mhm.
Like I have my daughter is older, like my stress level is better and I'm more capable of dealing with
You're
it.
more
So
patient, you're more mature.
yeah. So my walk through grad school is not the same as her walk through grad school,
Right.
right? Like at all. So you
Mhm.
can't say, okay, well, I'm doing the same thing as you, but I don't have to go to bed at 8:30. So why do you have to go
Why
to
do
bed?
I have, like, why are you making excuses not to hang out with me?
Right.
Like, or why can't she do it? I can do it. She can, why can't,
Right.
you know?
So you can't play the comparing
No,
game. Like you
no,
can't
no.
compare your journey to someone else's,
Mhm.
your boundaries to somebody else's. So not comparing our walk to someone else's walk and setting our own boundaries, right?
Mhm.
That work for us. And sticking to those boundaries is so important to protecting your peace.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Sometimes you can say, "Hey, Teresa, I love you and I really want to spend time with you. I really want us to have dinner or lunch one of these days. But right now I can't.
Yeah.
Let's get back together and see when it works best for you and me, when
Yeah.
we can both finally be on the same page."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But communication, I think communication is key
Yeah.
to setting boundaries.
Mhm.
And protecting relationships
Yeah.
in the midst of your set boundaries, right?
Mhm. Yep.
That way you don't burn bridges or
Hurt
kill
anyone,
relation yeah, hurt
offend anyone.
mhm, or
Yeah.
ruin relationships, like
Yeah.
communicating your boundaries
With love
with love.
and
And
patience.
sometimes no.
Sometimes
Sometimes
you gotta be firm.
yeah.
Like, "I'm sorry, I just can't right now."
Mhm. Yeah,
And that's it.
that's it. No is a full sentence.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything else?
No.
I think you covered it.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I hope this episode helped you learn how to set boundaries and the importance of setting boundaries
Mhm.
around people, places, things,
Friends. Yeah. Work.
friends, family, work,
Mhm.
and me time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next week, be well, be kind, and may you find some joy this week.
Bye.
Bye.